All right, we got us. Okay, we will begin with informational items. We will send it off for A, B, and C to Tim, give us a breakdown. And I don't know if you can follow, but there is a packet that was sent to you as well, Doctor.
Yes, I have the digital packet pulled up.
Okay, perfect.
All right, thank you. The Green Committee agenda, we just went through roll call. Informational items, we'll talk a little bit about the GROW program, controlling the source, status of the instrument for the declaration of restrictions and covenants, other business, future meeting dates, and adjournment. So right now, project status, we have 101 active projects. Well, not active, but we have 101 projects that were awarded in various degrees of status, going from preliminary design all the way down to beginning the O&M after the project's been closed out. Want to talk real quick just where we're at with the modified schedule that we had to change because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Where we're at right now is we invited everybody in June 1st to apply for the GROW grant. We are expecting on Friday, July 31st, these applications coming to ALCOSAN, and then August, September into October, the GROW team will go through the review process. Just point one quick thing out, the Green Committee meeting, we're still going to be recommending at the next Green Committee to have one additional one in October so we can have the awards approved. Cycle 5 letter of interest, 38 projects, including projects that did not have to go through the letter of interest. Project costs totaling a little over $27 million, and that's a preliminary estimate based on what was provided in the letters of interest. Of the projects at the last meeting, we laid out all the projects that we had received letters of interest and received bypass letters. Projects that are highlighted in red did not get invited. So for the stream inflows in the green projects, we have 6 that did get invited. For the I&I projects, we have a handful that we did not invite to apply. But for the most part, most of the I&I projects were invited to apply. Sewer separation and system optimization, 2 projects did not get invited to apply, but that gets counted by 2 projects they did get to apply for. Moving on to control.
Can you repeat that statement one more time? You said the ones in red did not, but then you said.
Right now, on the sewer separation and system optimization project slide, you'll notice that the 2 projects in Crafton Borough did not get invited, but at the top of that list, 2 other projects from Crafton did get invited to apply.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I hear you.
Moving on to controlling the source status, pencils are down. We're finalizing the rollout of controlling the source. Currently, it is working with communications and our GIS folks to just get everything in line. With the ultimate publication date of next Tuesday, July 21st. And that is going to be distributed exclusively on the ALCOSAN website. Controlling source opportunity implementations. Once we have this rolled out to everybody, this is the opportunity for ALCOSAN to be able to reach out to the communities with the projects that were identified in controlling the source. And then ultimately, between now and the fall workshops, we can meet with municipalities, or the municipalities can take a look at controlling the source and see whether or not that lines up with the projects that they would like to bring forward at the municipal workshops. This is how it's going to be rolled out. We have an executive summary. than the main report. And then we'll also have the web map, which will provide some details on, how the analysis went, locations of projects, the analysis using overflow control efficiencies, constraints. A lot of work went into the web map. The opportunity outreach, there was almost 200 potential locations identified. About a quarter of them were considered to have a high ranking, and we go into a little bit more detail with those projects. 68 are medium and 77 low ranking projects. Not saying that they're bad, but they did not rise to what we wanted to put an additional effort into identifying what could go into those projects. 26 municipalities were identified with green projects, and each of those municipalities, we intend to meet with those municipalities as we're moving forward to share the ideas from controlling the source. Some of the early progress, Rankin Borough, there was a project that was identified out there. They submitted a Cycle 5 letter of interest. Sharpsburg is advancing Kennedy Park. This is a project that we shared with the wider community back in, I believe it was last October at the Three Rivers Conference. Stakeholder outreach, we've met with Port Authority, shared some of the projects with the Negley Run Task Force, and also the concepts have been shared with Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority. I&I reduction opportunities, this is going along with the municipal flow monitoring program that we have. As we complete municipal flow monitoring and flow isolation studies, Julia works with our consultants to start identifying where good high impact projects could be found, and then reaching out to the municipalities about those high impact projects. Early progress, streets run communities have been approached and identified, and we're working with them right now. And we're going to meet with the 9 Mile Run communities for our point of connection M47. At M47, we requested $9 million in Corps of Engineer funding, and we're waiting to see how that works out. Stream inflow opportunities. Jacob's identified a methodology to try to nail down where some potential stream inflows are located. We knew of several locations, but Jacob's identified many more potential locations. ALCOSAN personnel went out and validated which areas actually had an inflow location. Based on those results, we identified 15 promising locations, and then we authorized an engineering firm to do a feasibility study based on that. And the locations are kind of grouped together in certain areas. What the feasibility study concluded was if we spend $18 million, we can get 44 million gallons of stormwater inflow reduced. It's not a correlation to how much overflow is being reduced, but how much water they believe we could get out of the system for that $18 million. One other project that was looked at Etna Borough, the Spring Street stream inflow, was granted a waiver for Cycle 5, and we're expecting them to submit an application for that project. Other potential opportunities, Delafield, working with Fox Chapel, O'Hara Township, and Aspinwall. $3 million was allocated from the Army Corps of Engineers. And then Spring Garden, stream removal, initial collaboration with Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority. We submitted another letter of interest to the Corps of Engineers. And this project has potential to reduce overflows by approximately 50 million gallons a year. Sewer separation opportunities, we're trying to identify locations where we can separate the sewer system from the combined sewer system. We're going to do a pilot in a small area near the old Heinz plant at our point of connection A61. And through this pilot, we hope to develop a methodology where other small feasible projects could be identified as we're doing these sewer separation projects. If they're very cost effective, maybe to take water quality into account, encourage green infrastructure at those projects also. Main question right now is sewer separation going to be more cost efficient than constructing gray infrastructure? A consolidation sewer is what was proposed for A61. Those are the main questions. Is this more cost effective? Now we're at the status of the IDRCs. City passed a resolution at the beginning of June. Thank you.
How we do stuff right?
Authorizing the city to enter into and designate signing authority for the IDRCs. Max, what does that mean?
Well, that was part of the discussions we've had for the last 2 years, and then most recently in February, a question of these PWSA projects that are on city property, both parks, vacant lots, and in the right-of-way, as part of the requirement for the green infrastructure program. They needed to file these instruments to, one, give ALCOSAN a property interest, and two, guarantee operation and maintenance for over 20 years. And because we had, PWSA was performing the maintenance and designing and constructing the project, but it was on city property, the instrument had to be recorded against the city property. So we did have, some pushback over the most recently in February about getting rid of this concept for city projects, and particularly in the right of way, through Arletta's leadership, as well as Tim and Julia and everybody else on the team, and Gene as well. We came up with a different type of IDRC for right of way projects, and we also kept the base concept for the instrument for the parks and the vacant lots, but involved PWSA in that agreement as well. And so the city in May agreed to go forward with those, introduced, and then finally passed the resolution, essentially covering every project from cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, or I guess there's no cycle 3, but cycle 4, granting a blanket authorization for any instrument that is put together that meets the terms of that resolution, can be signed by the mayor and recorded at the expense of PWSA to complete those obligations for cycle 1 and cycle 2. There were just a last flurry of emails since the end of June with PWSA. They had some minor changes that they wanted. We reviewed them, gave them some comments back, and it sounds like they are agreeable with that. So we are still waiting to see the actual recorded documents, but they are aware of the August 7th deadline. Was tied into the cycle 4 agreements, and they are working diligently, as we understand, to put them all together, get them signed, and get them recorded by August 7th. So it was a long time coming, but it was the right result at the end of the day.
Real quick, there are 3 projects that need to be recorded by August 7th. 2 PWSA and 1 City of Pittsburgh. The 2 PWSAs, Maryland Avenue, Woods Run. Am I getting that correct? Thank you, Julia. And then the third one, Bob O'Connor Golf Course. So want to be sure that we have that moving along. And now we are at other business.
I have no other business. Doctor?
So before we move to other business, I had a question about the project. How do the cost per gallon removed compare for the projects that you presented here? I noticed there is, $3 million for the one that removed potentially 50 million gallons per year, and then versus 18 million for the one that reduces by 44 million. Like, how do those compare with some of the other projects that we've done?
Well, for the one project where We are estimating 50 million gallons a year of overflow reduction. That seems to be pretty much in line with other stream removal projects because this is a large stream coming into the collection system. The $18 million for the 44 million gallon a year stormwater inflow reduction, we did not have an estimate as to how much overflow reduction that would be. That is only to remove the water from the collection system. The difference is that a majority of these sites, they're not very large. They're not large streams. Like Spring Garden is a large stream that brings a lot of wet weather flow. But these, not so much. So it's not an easy comparison
Okay.
to make.
Seems like it's never easy.
No, these aren't.
Okay, thank you for addressing that question.
Yep.
Oh, and I also appreciate the slide on the identified DSIR opportunities. I know I had asked a question, probably maybe not the last meeting, but the one before, just to try to get a better sense on where these projects are. And I appreciate the maps that are kind of showing where these are. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Right? You good, Doctor?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No, I think the map is very helpful to show how much ALCOSAN's reached out all over, and it's a credit to Tim and his team, and everybody that's learning about the GROW program that they're interested in doing it. So I think that's great. And we've already spent, what was it, $28 million roughly so far. So I know we're committed to spending more than that too, which is good. I have no other business. I would guess next meeting is September 17th at 2 p.m. And then right now we have October 15th at 2 p.m. But that's to be determined based on, I guess, some later dates. Is that right? Or is the 15th good in October? That's up in the air. Okay.
At least a week before.
At least before the board meeting. Okay. All right. With that, does anybody have anything else? Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.